Okay, Courvoisier. It's a cognac. It's a fairly good cognac. As far as the cognacs I've tried probably a dozen so far. It is one of my favorite. Actually, the favorite. This is going to be kind of a longer video because there's a lot to talk about with cognac. Nobody knows, at least in the United States, what the aging is. So I'm reviewing VS, meaning very special, and VSOP, meaning very special old pale, I believe. And then the next level up is XO, which stands for, I think, extra old, something like that. It's not important. What you need to know is that this, I believe, is a VS typically means 2 years age statement. This one is aged 3 to 7 years. And that's they blend their products between the ages of 3 and 7 years. This one is 8 to 10 years blended. Their VSOP. And the XO is, which I don't have here, is 11 to 25 years blended. So that's the age statement of Courvoisier, so it's a little better than your typical cognac or brandy. In the United States, those age designations, you see them on their products, they don't really mean anything. I think I was reading the back of a American brandy, and it said XO on it, and it's definitely not 10 years because it said aged a minimum of 2 years. So, I mean, it was still their higher end stuff, but like E&J brand you see in the United States a lot, and Paul Mason, I don't really like any of that stuff. That stuff's rot gut, and it taints the name of brandy here in the United States, because a lot of brandy in the United States is very inexpensive. Even French brandy that tastes pretty decent is under $20. This isn't. Courvoisier is a rather famous brand. It's the big name brand. This and Hennessy are the two biggies. But I'll get right into reviewing it, because there's a lot to talk about cognac versus brandy, which I guess I'll mention that. Cognac is brandy, but it's brandy that's done under an extra set of regulations, such as the grapes have to be picked during a certain time, and they have to be it has to be in the cognac region of France. The grapes have to be the right type of grape, picked at the right time, and then it has to be stuff with the barrels or it's a lot of stuff. Ultimately, it's just another brandy, as far as I'm concerned. But it's good brandy. And does that yield a superior product, having all those stipulations attached? Yeah, maybe. Although I've had some pretty good brandies that are just without those. Alright, on the nose, and we're going to start with the VS. I get a lot of raisin and like fruitcake fruit, and just reminds me of fruitcake. There's some vanilla in there. It's quite nice. I really enjoy the VS. And there's a lot of vanilla on the palate. Some nuttiness. A lot of oak from the oak, I assume, the oak influence. And more of that raisin candied fruitiness. It's not overly sweet. I mean, there are some sweet brandies out there. This is not super sweet, but it's well balanced, I would say. It's a nice palate on it. Flavors last a while. Good nose. The VSOP, the more expensive one here, VS runs about $36 a bottle. This one's about $55, so a little pricey. The XO, I believe, is $155. I'm not going to be probably buying that because the price to benefit ratio, I'm sure, is not in the favor of that. Similar nose, not as fruitcakey. There's less fruit. Still a lot of vanilla though. More vanilla nut. Similar. I wouldn't say any smoother. Someone say that, I mean, they have a fine product with their VS. I guess it's tamed down some of the fruitier notes and replaced it with some nuttier oakiness. Go back to the other one here. A little more sweetness to the younger. I like it. I like both of them. I'm gonna say I actually like the VS a little bit better, but this one is a little. It's different. It's they're both the same flavor sets, but it's like the ratios of the flavors are changed. You have more fruitiness and more sweet candied fruitiness and raisininess in the younger version, and then you get more vanilla nut in the older version. And that's really all how I would describe it. They're both excellent. They're both equally smooth, and I guess it's what you prefer. I like a little more fruit in there than the VSOP has. Actually, the VSOP kind of reminds me of a lot of other French brandies that are have just more of that vanilla nut, less fruit, which you can also get for under $20. A lot of French brandies. So yeah, I would say pass the Courvoisier. So I'm going to leave it at that. They're both worth a try. They're both excellent products. How do they compare to like a whiskey? I would say if you drink scotch and whatnot, you definitely enjoy this as a sipping beverage. If you enjoy sipping a whiskey, this is the same tier of quality and flavor types. And yeah, if you're new to brandies and whatnot, give Courvoisier a try. It's totally worth it. So that's what I have to say about that. And yeah, and don't hesitate to start with the less expensive of the two, because to be honest, that's the one I enjoy the most. So all right, have a good night.